Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're on a look at the 350Z. After the last event where we're drifting at Teesside, we had a bit of a mishap, bumped the front. You possibly see another social media posts or on my last video, or I think it's the one before, either way, of me having a bump with it, and then you might have seen some clips and I was like, oh, I've done this, but didn't really know what was particularly wrong with it. This video is kind of just showing that, I guess, and kind of going over it and sorting out one of the issues that I can fix because I've already got one of the parts for it. So the car, I mean, if you don't know what has happened with it, if you've not seen anything else, we went into the tyre wall at Teesside about this spot of said car. It kind of spun around and we managed to hit here, sort of coming in that way. Headlight broke, which we can get that out of the boot and stuff in a sec. This was pushed in. I can't actually remember how far this went in, but it bent all this in as well and it pinned the wheel back. That's cable tied. There's probably a bracket missing here, which I'm not 100% sure on because I've not looked at the other side. The other thing I've kind of looked at, which was one of the main things that I can sort like just straight away, is that with the wheel, there's a bit of play, which will be this way. He says I can't do it with one hand apparently. There we go. Yeah, there we go. You can kind of see it. It's a bit hard to do with one hand, but there's play back and forth, which is probably a little bit hard to show on video like that. But basically, from my diagnostics, the end of the tow rod, the like bushing bit, is just gone. So it means that this will move a little bit before it actually moves the tyre rod, if that makes sense. There's just a bit of wiggle room. The only reason I know this is just because it happened on the other side when I had a bump on the other side as well a little while back. I swapped that bit and it was sound, so that's what I'll be doing today. I'm not sure give you a tutorial of how to fix that because I'm not really a mechanic. I can do it, but I kind of go a weird way about doing things. It takes too long and whatnot, but I'll document my progress on that as such. Another thing as well was try and get you in here. This is me trying to see as well as showing you guys. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know how well the camera will show this, but the end of here, I wish I had a focus button. I think it's in focus there relatively. There's a split basically where this brake line goes to the fitting. So there is a leak on the brake line now. I don't actually know how it's done that, to be honest. I am slightly baffled. I mean, obviously the wheel was pushed in, but I don't know where that would be hitting for that to cause that. But I mean, it has. So it doesn't matter how it has or hasn't done whatever it's done, but that basically needs swapping, which that line runs from there, round, back of here to there, and then comes down and up into here. That is one piece that I've found on the interwebs. That the replacement part isn't just that section from here to here. It comes down and up to there as one piece. We're either going to get one of them, or I've got a friend that said that he knows how to basically do new brake lines and fittings and stuff. So possibly be getting him to come and have a look and see if he can do that bit for me at some point. But there is no rush as such because I haven't got any plans to take the car out like in the next couple of weeks. It's kind of done when it's done, but just so you're aware of, that's one of the other issues with the car. I mean, the tracking's obviously going to be off because of it having a bump and the wheel being involved, because that's just how it works really. I mean, we've got to have the tow rod off anyway, or the end of it, so we can adjust it relatively to somewhat near where it should be. Besides that, not found anything else yet. My washer bottle's gone, which I'm sad about, because that came with the car. It's a very ghetto thing. It's not here anymore, so I can't point at it. It was just like a juice bottle that had the washer fluid in it, which is zip tied to the car. That's gone, which is sad. I mean, it was very ghetto, but it just came with the car, so it's kind of like cool that it lasted as long as it did. These were loose as well. I checked them when I had a look over the car. I say they were loose. The top one was loose. I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't majorly loose. It was just like I put a spanner on it and I could just turn it a bit. So I just tightened that back up, which I did check them before the drift day, so I know it was definitely not loose before, if that makes sense. But that should be fine now. We'll get the bits out of the car anyway, because it's probably something you're interested about. I'll also mention these quickly, the side skirt. I crafted up these. This is just so I can lie on the floor if you wondered why there's just a cloth dumped there. There's a car cover, but yeah, they're like Halford's guttering. Not Halford's, crikey, they sold guttering, everyone would have it. B&Q guttering, sorry, that I sort of cut to shape. It looks easier than what it is. I mean, they're not perfect, they're far from it, but for my abilities, they're not awful. And you basically just have to try and follow the line of the car and shit, and put it on. They do fit flush against the car, but it's the brackets at the bottom that we've not done very well. So it kind of sags down a little bit. I mean, they have been abused on a drift day, so they're not obviously going to have been perfect. But then they just bottom to the side. Have bolt points there and there and there. I'm going to film these. I've got loads of photos and stuff of me actually step by step doing it in the event that they look semi-alright, which I think they're alright, to be fair. I might do a video more detailed on that if people are interested in the process. I mean, it's nothing drastic, but it's there, if you know what I mean. Just going to the boot, and I'll grab all the remains of the car out, and the boot's not open, so I'll be so I've got everything out of the boot. It's just easy to get it out and I can film it. Here's the side skirt thing I mentioned. It's actually a one piece though, which is really impressive, seeing it come off the car whilst going at substantial speed. The end cap's popped off, but they're still on the car, which is good. So basically the end cap's popped off it, which attached it to the car on the sides, and then this just fell off, which is kind of how I want it to work anyway. So that did its job. I mean, you can see there's explainer in the back. That's kind of without diving into detail of how I did it. That's kind of just explainer filled in, kind of sat flush, and then it sits in the car. And there's a bit of a bracket left. Here's the front bumper though. This is the bit that looks the worst. That when you put it on the car, you're like, whoa, he's wrecked his car, which it's not awful. I mean, the bumper's awful, but the car's not. You can kind of just see some of the impactness on it. I tried to put the splitter somewhat on top of it because this had completely come off. The splitter is actually done very well. Even though it's split there and there, it was already split there and there. So it's actually done, I mean, this splitter, I don't know what brand it was, it come with the car, but it's done very well. I mean, I said in the last video with the cars, oh, it's usable. I mean, it technically is still reusable. It looks a bit questionable, but the bumper almost is savable, apart from this side of it, it's just a bit ruined, which is sad. Because, I mean, that's all crumpled in and stuff. For a bit of fun, I might just try and put this on the car, because that'll be entertaining. I'm going to do that quickly. There's the headlight as well. Actually isn't that bad. There was a bit that was broken on it, I think, maybe. I think it's just the cracks. I can't remember. I haven't really looked at this since I've dumped it all in the car on the drift day. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, that bit's all smashed there and broken. Yeah, not ideal. But I don't even know how much headlights cost for these. But it's there. I'm going to put the bumper anyway and can show you that on the car, because that'll be funny to look at. Well, that took a lot longer than I thought to try and put the bumper on, even though it's in bits, which I guess would be tricky. But there it is. It looks magnificent. This side's actually the better side. That fits in nicely. I mean, that bit's not popped in properly because it's a bit of a nightmare. The zip tied there. This bit's got a lovely indent in. Zip tied up here. Another zip tied. Hold that bit together. It's probably a reason why it's split as bad as it has, because it already had drift stitch and stuff on it from previous abuse or whatnot. It's mainly this area which is really bad, because there's just, I think there's something missing. I mean, it kind of would pull up there, and then that bit. I mean, I'm not going to reuse this anyway because it's kind of fudged. But I was just trying to see what it looked like, and obviously it's not amazing. I think it's a bit too hanging down now, so that will be in the floor, but it's there. I just wanted to do that for me, an entertainment purpose and whatnot. Apart from that, the car itself sound. Hello guys, it's me in the reflection. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to crack on with this now, because it's going to take ages. It's such a simple thing, and I know what I'm doing with it, because where I was on about before. So you got the item here on the end of the ball joint, and then you got this lovely bolt at the bottom, which will be an absolute pain to take off. I can't remember if there's anything on the top of that you have to undo. I'm not too sure, because it's been a little bit since I did it. But then it should pull across, and then I can then unscrew the end of the tie rod, put the new end in, and then do it all back the way you've done it. It's not going to happen like that, because I know what cars are like, and it's an absolute pain. The last time I did this, I couldn't. Something was an issue with it, so I took these two out to give me more play to pull it out, and I couldn't get them back in. And I was like, oh, it's just cars for you. Just a bit tricky, especially because it's old as well. WD-40 would be advised, but I haven't got any of that, so we're just going to go without and just use pure strength, he says. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with that. I'm going to get the part. I'll explain what tools I'm using as the way in the event that you come across this video, even though it's not titled tie rod end replacement or whatnot. But in the event you're watching it and go, oh, that's how you do it. So we'll get the tools and we'll crack on really. So yeah, sound. Yeah, I was saying I wish I had a head cam for this. So there's a 24mm socket on this, and it was a case of putting 2 feet on here. I mean, it's cracked now, so it will spin. But obviously, if you don't put your feet or anything against that, it just pulls that, obviously. That is now cracked. Oh, so rusty. It was a pain to get the socket on it. That's for sure. I mean, I've cracked it now, so we'll get the ratchet on it, and then we can whiz that out and see where we're at. Okay, so a lot of brute force of pushing that. So I just pushed that as hard as I could to pop it out, because I was right, I had a look at it. I just wanted to check before I started like ugga-dugga in it with my hands. But there you go, that was a good example of seeing what's gone wrong. It's just shear itself, basically. I mean, yeah, it just shouldn't be like that. So yeah, it's just sad to look at. But I was right. Ta-da! See, I think that is overextended. I'm sure that shouldn't be like that. Let's get the new one out so you guys can see a comparison. Wow, I feel like one of them proper YouTuber people now. Don't mean to be like that. So I was correct on my my explanation of that. That is an oval now. I mean, I'm using a GoPro. I've tried to get it in like the normal mode so it doesn't look too fishy-eye, but you can see that's an oval. Here's the replacement part. You can see it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? That's basically just because this is my guess. I don't actually know. I'm not a mechanic, but there's been extra stress on that, which should explain the wheel overturning, and it's just stretched that, causing. I mean, this piece itself. I haven't got a new rubber thing. I probably should have bought one of them. I didn't really think about that, to be fair. Silly me. I mean, that's not quite usable, but. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not a road car, do you know what I mean? I probably should be putting one of these back on it, because you then pack it with grease or whatnot, but I'm going to just get this bit on today, and then if I want to then put one of these on and pack it with grease, which I probably should, is getting this off, because it's going to be super duper 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 hard to get that off, because this is the bit I struggled at last time, because you've got to twist this, which it just threads out, but then you've got to keep the tie rod straight, and it's theory is not that hard. You just hold a spanner and then you turn the other spanner, but it was ridiculously stiff last time. I mean, you can see it's crusty, so it's not going to be a nice time. I'm going to crack on with that. I'll tell you what spanners I'm using, and then when I get it off, because it'll come off. I like to think. I can just talk you through what I did and technique of how I get it off with it being stiff. So yeah, let's crack on with that. Getting on to what we're doing. 22 and a 21 spanner. 22 goes onto here, there. The other one goes onto the nut here. That's basically a locking nut that locks this item there. So this nut you want to be pulling towards you, and then that one you want to be pushing away. Once you've basically cracked that nut, this item will then be free, which you can then just twist off. I mean, I'd use my hand, but I ain't got gloves on now. Twist off, and then you can just twist the other one on, put the locking nut on. I was pushing it the wrong way, if I'm honest with you, because I was like, oh well, lefty loosey, righty tie. Which is true, but then you just lock in the nut, because the nut threads off, tightens up that. So you've actually got to tighten the nut backwards, and then it loosens it off, which when I thought about it, I was like, that makes sense, but when I was looking, I was like, eh. But I've done it now anyway, so that's the main thing. I get that off, put the other one on, put the locking nut on, and yeah, we'll continue from there. Okay, just to show you, I've got that on now. Basically just repeat of how we got it off, but opposite way. I forgot to reiterate as well, when I was trying to loosen this, I tapped it with a hammer before just to kind of get everything loose, like in terms of just like corrosion stuff. I don't know if you'll have to do that yourself, it's just something I did. And then I also tapped this with a hammer as well, just to loosen any debris that was in there, just to get it all out, and then blow it out as well, just so it's just a clean thread. Because the worst thing you want is the thread kind of going in that doesn't go in properly, sort of thing. So that's just kind of what I did. You don't have to do it, but it's there. You then now would put that, push the caliper or the whole assembly here back in, line up with this, then send your bolt through. I'm not actually going to do that though, because I want to do it properly. I don't want to bodge it for once. I just want to get a new one of these really and get that put on. I mean, ideally you probably want to put one of them on before you put the end on, but you can probably do it this way as well, because that's quite a stretchy rubber and stretch it around, just because the bottom of that shit itself, so it's best to get a new one. I believe the other side's done like that as well, where I swapped it and didn't put a rubber thing on, but I kind of want to do it properly really, just to try and just look after it a little bit, because it kind of needs rubber grease on it and stuff, so we'll be doing that, or whatever grease. I'll have a look into what the actual grease is for that, and I can update that as I want to do that. Brake line wise, that obviously won't be done today. there's nothing else that I can really do. What we'll be doing today, that was kind of it. I mean, I thought that'd actually take ages, and it's took me, what time are we on now? Wow, it's took me about an hour to do that, which, yes, is probably a bit longer than what it should take to do something like that, but there's also me filming as well, because I then do something and then go, what have I used, and film it and speak about it. Obviously, it's still longer than what it should take, but I'm happy with it. I got a boo-boo on my arm, which you can't see. You can see. Fun with cars. Always something. Trying to loosen something that's tight, you just smack your arm off something. It's never fun, but here we are, I suppose. Random updates on the unit, I guess. There's a TV in here now, which has come from mine. Just because we had like a games night the other day for Gebby's birthday. It's one of the lads, just a bit of entertainment. I had my console here and stuff. It's not here now, it's just the telly's here. But it's just for like watching films, which we didn't actually watch a film, we just played on CarX mainly when we had the telly and set up here. The speaker's been here anyway. Still got a good amount of tyres going. Kind of looks like I've got more now, but it's just because they've moved from there to there. Update on the Hot Wheels board, because there might be viewers that enjoy this or not, but it's here. Alex has added some more. Can't remember what was here last time, so you can kind of look. I'm not going to talk about every car or anything on here. I know Alex really likes this one, because it's like his Scirocco that he's got. You've got like the drift collection stuff. I don't really know a lot about Hot Wheels, I just kind of buy the cars that I like. But for anyone that's into Hot Wheels, this is just something that I might do. I'm not going to do an individual video on it, but when I'm doing these sort of videos, it's just might come to the ball and go, this week Alex has got these new cars, or for etc. But it's there, it's just something nice to appreciate. It's just a cool backdrop in the unit. Golf's here because it's unhealthy at the moment. Nothing that we're currently fixing, because it's hopefully going through a warranty and we'll get sorted, but as and when, it's kind of a recent thing that's happened, so it's kind of that. Besides that, the Beamer's still up for sale. No one's bought that. Probably listed it too high, who knows. I mean, just slowly drop the price until it eventually sells, I suppose, and just kind of give up with that. I think it needs a new clutch and pivot pin, which I don't know what pivot pin bit is, but that's something it said on the thing of changing all that. I can't do a clutch myself, and I don't really want to pay someone to put a clutch in it and buy a clutch, because it's just like a couple £100, whatnot. It's just not a lot of money, but it just adds up, and it's just something I can't. If I do all that and it still doesn't sell, and it's just a bit like, I'd rather just sell it, someone else does it and enjoys it, because I've kind of lost interest in it, really. Probably because of just this. Yeah, it's just one of them. I mean, like, I like E36s a lot. I mean, the compact's less desirable in my opinion, but it's still cool. But I mean, there's loads I still want to do to this car, and I've kind of probably took on a bit too much by buying it another car and thinking I could do stuff with it. But the thought was there. I mean, the money's there, and it's still, hopefully, will sell for an amount of money. But yeah, bar that, nothing else is new. There's more McLaren F1s on here now. I'm just rambling, showing you random stuff around, and I've got like the little signed bit up there and stuff from Adam and Colette. Alright guys, just to start with the video, I was going to kind of leave it at that, but then I kind of got distracted with the car and then sort of put the bumper back on in some sort of shape. I'm surprised it's gone as well as it has, because obviously it was quite crippled before. This side's semi-alright, kind of re-drilled some of these in, so it's kind of just gone in some of the new / existing holes. Let's pull it over. And this bit is very questionable, it's all Frankenstein together. So before my camera died anyway, carrying on from where we were, Frankenstein all together this sort of section. The headlight's kind of in, it's not mounted up because the mounts are broken for it, but I just wanted to kind of see where everything lined up more for just kind of understanding what needs sorting on the car. Fender's not awful, slight divots and whatnot in it, but it kind of fits. This needs moving again, I had to use a bit of persuasion to get it in, but the lines aren't all, I mean, it's a drift car, it's not going to be perfect body lines or whatnot, but it's in, and to me it looks presentable. We are on a winner, I'd say. I'd say she's usable for another day before I get a new bumper, which is good in the event that you go to a track where they say you need a bumper and say I've not got one yet. So that's kind of it. I will leave the video there before I ramble on too far and the camera dies again. I have to try and charge it. Hopefully it's been interesting. Hopefully it's been slightly educational, whatnot, or just enjoying to watch is the main thing, really. It's why we kind of do these, and I just like to document what I get up to with the car things and whatnot. So yeah. Hopefully it's been a good watch. Hopefully the GoPro quality has been better today. I mean, we haven't got the flashing lights that we had last time because it was dark and it doesn't tend well with the LEDs and whatnot. But yeah, hopefully it's been a good watch. Thanks for watching again, guys, and catch you later.